We're commandeering the Adams College radio station in the name of nerd freedom.
There's no greater friend of the nerd than the American DJ.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled.
Daria!
I'm Queen Marcia, here on the planet Cougaria.
Mitch!
Hey, Mr. Carter, I'm John Travolta. Yeah.
Ted!
And I'm Robin Lozier.
Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
Daria, Mitch, and Ted. The Afternoon Buzz.
Well, here we go on a gorgeous Thursday afternoon. Hi, kids.
Hello.
Let's have a poop story.
All right out of the gate.
So to
Actually,
speak.
no, before the poop story. And the poop story, it's not really... Well, I won't tell you anything about it. It's a poop story. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need.
You can't really tell as much right now. This is not the poop story. This is something totally different. Okay?
Okay.
So you can't really tell right now, you guys, because I put my headphones on. But I assume you noticed and were awestruck by...
I noticed, and it looks fantastic.
My big full hair?
Yes.
My big full 80s hair?
Yes.
You had no idea what I was going to say.
Something's going to be earrings.
You were jumping. No earrings,
Okay,
moron.
darn it.
Why would you choose something you can't see because of her
Because she
headphones?
said I just put my headphones on. What else would it have been? With earrings, obviously.
Listen, Ted.
Yeah.
When will I learn not to fish for compliments from Mitch?
I'm not good at this.
You know
You're
what
going to get
happened?
some weird things.
Do you know what
I'm not
happened
good at
earlier
it.
on in the show?
I'm not good at it.
Or early on in the day, I was in, and I know you love me, Mitch. I know you do. I
Thank
know you
you.
like, but you're so bad at it.
I'm awful at that game.
So I'm putting on makeup in the prep room, and I go, "Oh, I wish I was prettier."
How do you answer that?
Do you know Mitch's response?
Huh.
No. How would you answer it, Ted?
There's no way for that to happen.
Thank you. It's the obvious answer.
Durr.
Do you know,
I know now.
You know what Mitch said?
Anything else is wrong.
Daria. Oh, I wish I was prettier. Mitch. Why? It's not like you could get a handsomer husband. If you,
My God.
It's not,
I said, how would it
he
change
goes-
your life
he goes-
if you're prettier?
He goes, it's not like you could get a handsomer husband if you were.
But I mean, you couldn't be any prettier. I did follow up my third comment with something like that.
It wasn't that, though.
After the daggers came out of her eyes. That wasn't
No,
right.
you know what? I didn't even say anything. I was like, it's my fault for thinking that something that would be uplifting would follow. No, Mitch has the ability to make it worse. Always. It's amazing.
I've never answered that question right.
So what I was going to say is, I'm assuming you noticed how huge and voluminous and 80s like my hair is today.
Yes.
But seriously,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Very fluffy.
I have a product secret.
Oh.
It's probably the best hair product I've ever found / used. And this was recommended to me. I did like a video shoot a couple months ago for this video company that's shooting a spec series, kind of a game show about, I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about it, if at all. So I'll just say it's like this. It's sort of one of those home design challenge shows.
Oh, cool.
But a little bit more Portland geared. Anyway, I did that, and they had a makeup and hair artist on set who I can't remember her name, but she was awesome. She was awesome. And we were lamenting my baby fine hair that it's impossible to do anything with. And she goes, you know what you should try? It's this amazing product, and it's really hard to find in stores, but you can buy it online. So, ladies, take heed right now if you're listening.
And fellas, probably.
Like, write it down. I think it would work for guys, too, but it's definitely works for women that want voluminous hair and have really fine hair like mine. Okay, so it's from Big Sexy Hair, which you've all seen. You can buy it in grocery stores even. But this one I've never found in stores, but it's, again, online. It's easily found. It's a tiny little bottle. It's sort of like almost a travel hairspray size. And it's called Powder Play. And it's got a little pow on it.
Oh.
And it's this, what it is this powder. It's sort of along the same lines. I know this is boring, you guys, but trust me.
I'm fascinated by it.
There are women out there that are like, what is this? Because it's really, if you have really fine hair and you want it to be big and luscious.
Sure.
There's F all you can do.
Well, those of us
You
with
can rat
fine
it.
hair, you can't do anything
I would like
with
to
it.
try this on you, actually, Ted.
Your hair's so
although
fine.
You
It's
can,
fine.
But you complain. But you have tons of hair, though.
Well.
Okay. Anyway, It's a
Let's do it today.
It's a powder. It just looks like a powder. It comes in a tiny thing, and you just tap, 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 shake on a part line, and then move your hair to a new part line. Basically, just put it on the very roots by the scalp where you want fullness, and then you take your fingertips and just rub, 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 and it changes from a powder to something magic, and it works amazing.
Cool.
So she told me all about this. I took little notes in my little notebook, and when I was laid up and just lying in bed, I was like, I'm going to buy things.
Why not?
I'm going to buy Pretty Makers online. And I did, and I got this just recently, and it is remarkable.
Fantastic. Looks great.
Nothing else has ever given my hair volume like this little tiny little can does. So again, if you miss it, obviously you can send me an email and ask for it. But it's powder play, just like power play, but with a D because it's a powder from Big Sexy Hair. It's not that expensive, and it's crazy good. Like it'll kind of like if you work it around enough, it'll sort of just automatically.
Oh yeah, it's doing it right now.
Rat and fluff your hair.
Yeah.
And it makes it big.
Now I have a question.
Big.
Following up this, you started this out.
Poop. Yeah, I changed my mind.
Yeah, we were talking about poop right out the gate.
I changed my mind because I brought the thing with me, and I'm like, ooh, don't forget to tell people about this.
Because I was really waiting for the part where you put poop in your hair.
Let's have a song, and they'll tell you the poop story.
All right.
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Oh, let's play that call really fast because I always love product recommendation. Did you save it?
I did.
Okay. Right there at the opening, we were talking about. So I have super fine hair that drives me crazy, and if you like the look where it's like really flat and close to your head, like I'm your girl. But if you like me, freaking hate that look and want your hair to be big and gorgeous, it's Powder Play Hair Volumizer by Big Sexy Hair. It's a powder, and you scrunch it, and your hair goes skyward, and it stays that way, and it's magnificent. And if it starts to go limp, you just scrunch with your fingers, and it recharges. And, let's go to the phone.
Hi, I'm calling about that volumizing powder you guys just said on the radio.
Yeah, have you tried it?
Well, I haven't tried it, but I just want to let you know I work at a Sally Beauty Supply, and we carry one. It's called Rock On Volumizing Powder, and it's about $8. And it's a small little thing, but a little goes a very long way, and it's just amazing. It's the most amazing product we have.
And what's the name again?
It's called Rock On Volumizing Powder.
I will look for that as well, and I will put it to the test.
All right. Thanks for your call there.
I love products.
I know you do. I do too.
I also love poop stories. We need a special bed.
A poop song.
Yeah,
bed.
we need a poop bed. We need a special jingle that's like poop, 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 poopity poop, poop, poop. So let's try to be mature about this because this is serious business,
right.
And it utilizes the scientific use of the term poop spray.
Okay. Ugh.
Mitch, when you do a deuce,
Private time is what it's called.
do you put the lid down before you flush?
Always.
So you do have to look at your poop, and do you avert your eyes?
I avert my eyes. I don't want to look. I never, ever look.
I bet you
I've
always look.
never, ever looked. But you got to put the lid down because it sprays everywhere.
What if it felt weird coming out, and you're like, I wonder what that poop looks like? And then,
I especially would not look at that one. No.
You've never seen your own poop?
No, I mean, no, maybe peripherally, you glance, but no, I don't want to see
You ever
it.
check to make sure everything's okay?
No.
It's fascinating. It came out of you.
It's disgusting.
It's
I don't
like
know.
your child.
No, it's not like my child.
You've created it.
No, I do not look.
Here's a filthy new study out of Leeds teaching hospitals in the UK. Researchers found, I mean, you know you're not supposed to leave the lid open because of poop spray.
Right.
But this kind of drives that point home. When you flush the toilet after you do your filthy business,
Yes.
and you leave the toilet seat up, yes, you are literally spraying your bathroom with thousands of tiny bits of feces.
Yeah, I've seen reports. It goes everywhere.
It doesn't matter if it's a big solid. It doesn't matter if it's a loosey-goose. It doesn't matter if it's the liquid brown. It always happens. Poop spraying is a very real thing, and those bits do get everywhere. It goes far. It goes on every surface you touch, on your toothbrush, on your clothes, on anything you brought in with you.
Oh.
And anything that's in there already. Naturally, this can potentially lead to spreading very nasty bacteria. Researchers found that poop spraying could spread C. difficile bacteria, which causes diarrhea, and then the cycle continues.
Now, what about like public restrooms like we have here at the radio
yeah, it's
station?
everywhere in there.
There's no covers.
No, you're working into a world of...
And trust me, there's some pooping that goes on in there.
Well, when you go in and you smell it, that is those particles in the air.
Do they have a black light for poop?
I hope so.
You hope so?
Turn on your poop light.
So we can see where the poop spray is.
Let it shine your way.
Neil Diamond, everybody.
Wouldn't it be great if it was like it was the size of like a flashlight.
Carry it with you.
And you turn it on. No, you would never poop again. You'd never poop
Well, you'd
again.
never leave the house again.
No, you'd never.
You'd walk
take off-
outside, look at the porch. Ah!
You'd never take off your hazmat suit. They found that when people with the C. difficile used the toilet and flush, the air was filled with flying bacteria. 60 minutes after the flush, the amount in the air had decreased 8-fold. 90 minutes, it decreased another 3-fold. So, I mean, if you wait a really long time...
You're okay. You're
no,
better off.
You're better off.
You're better
yeah.
off using those porta-johns.
So the conclusion...
Because there's no flushing. It's probably much cleaner and safer in a porta-john than it is in a public
I
restroom.
doubt that.
I don't.
I bet that theory is false.
Because when you use a toilet, it goes away. You do get the spray, but it goes away. In a porta-john, it just sits there.
It's in blue water, though. It's
yeah,
cleaning
but it's not climbing back up.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how far down it is. I mean, you ever use one of those honey buckets
The
where
last
it's
day
just
of a
right,
festival?
Yeah, exactly.
you're putting the cherry on top.
1051 The Buzz. Buzz from Hollywood.
Sometimes I wonder when I look at tabloids, like how much shelf life in terms of years does a certain celebrity or celebrity couple have? For example, when Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got together, that hasn't slowed down at all.
No.
And it's been years now.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it'll ever
I think it would.
must.
I think it would slow down if Jennifer Aniston's star had faded. If she had gone out of the public eye, I think it would have been. But since all three of them are big stars, then it's a constant love triangle we can all stick our nose into.
So it's been a busy week in the tabloids for Angelina and Brad. Here are a few of the rumors / lowercase f facts that are muckering around out there.
All right.
I didn't have any word come to mind.
Muckering is good.
The National Enquirer says Angelina is 3 months pregnant. She and Brad are ecstatic. Meanwhile, the Star says Angelina angrily walked out on Brad after she found out he impregnated Jennifer Aniston in 2004. She allegedly miscarried. Of course, that was before Brad and Angelina were together, but supposedly Angelina was jealous that she wasn't the first woman to be impregnated.
Oh, she should shut up.
By Brad. Well, I don't think any of this is real, though.
No.
All right.
And last but not least, OK Magazine says Angelina is not pregnant, but she's desperately trying to because she wants to get knocked up before Jennifer so she can steal her thunder.
Oh, well, that Angelina. Wait a minute. It's happening to me. I'm getting
Why
sucked
can't
in.
you just be happy for Jennifer and her new whoever he is? And finally, this is real. For Christmas, Angelina has purchased Brad Pitt a waterfall in California.
That's nice.
What makes it even more special is that the waterfall, the water that flows from it, made entirely out of Jennifer Aniston's tears. In politics, even though he won the Iowa caucuses, Mitt Romney received basically the same amount of votes that he did in the 2008 Iowa caucuses, which means he's made absolutely no progress in 4 years, which means maybe he is cut out to be president.
Oh, snap.
Bipartisan. Who's an attack? You asked me. Maria Shriver may take Arnold Schwarzenegger back. She plans to keep him from straying by hiring a really unattractive housekeeper. Mariah Carey's husband Nick Cannon has been hospitalized. Interestingly, that sentence also works without the word hospitalized. 32-year-old Leah Ife Davis.
I just got it.
I put those jokes in, but it takes so long to 32-year-old Leah F.A. Davis got caught shoplifting from a JCPenney at Provo, Utah's University Mall earlier this week and came up with a stupid legal defense.
This should be good.
Leah was caught with 4 purses and 4 pairs of pajamas worth a total of $591. She tried to convince police to let her go by claiming she played Rudy on The Cosby Show. But she didn't count.
Bold.
She didn't count on the JCPenney security guard being the real Rudy. That's the Buzz from Hollywood.
1051 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz. With Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Mitch, what's coming up in News of the Weird?
Well, Daria, scientists in Canada have figured out a procedure that alters the DNA in a species of insects. It causes them to grow to humongous proportions, the size they were 60 million years ago. Should we be concerned?
Well, how big were they? 60? Well, I guess we can talk about this once we get into
We will talk about it then, but they were humongous.
So it's like making dinosaur age
It's like them.
They figured out a way to play with the DNA. And
just because you can't do something doesn't mean you should. Scientists
certainly should not.
Nature finds a way.
News of the Weird's coming up.
105.1 The Buzz. Daria, Mitch, and Ted. With the bizarre, strange, the potentially untrue. The news of the weird.
Okay, Daria and Ted, each of our stories today, News of the Weird, have picture accompaniment, so you want to hop over to the blog at 1051thebuzz.com, then blogs, then News of the Weird.
I have no idea what you just said. It just sounded like chattering chickens.
Daria and Ted, each of our stories today have picture accompaniment, so you'll want to hop on your computer and go to 1051thebuzz.com, click on blogs, and then News of the Weird. You'll see some very, very small pictures, because we've changed our website to make the pictures smaller.
Well, we haven't changed our website.
So it's harder to see them, but you have to get chased real close to the computer and they'll look big. There's something most of us fellas, Daria and Ted, and a lot of ladies have in common. It's incredibly rewarding to gather a pile of wood or maybe a big old bag of charcoal briquettes and build a fire and then cook our dinner on the fire.
You don't go camping, so I wonder how skilled you are at making a campfire.
Well, we have a wood fireplace, and I thought I was skilled. You would not believe what happens. We ordered a load of wood about a month ago. Mm-hmm. When I make the fire in the fireplace, Derek gets so frustrated with me. He's like, stop it, stop it, stop it.
What?
I do not do it right.
Stop the press. Derek gets upset and frustrated with you for not doing something that he thinks should be done a certain way.
He calls himself the fire master.
That doesn't sound all right.
I never use enough kindling. I don't poke it enough. I don't put the right size logs in. Mm-hmm. You gonna get a grill this year? Barbecue grill, Daria? You need one. You got a big backyard.
Probably. Yeah. It's on the list. But I mean, you and I are the same way. Ted would be like, just get a grill. There's good grills out there. Get a grill.
Just go
I'd be
get
like,
one.
But I want the finest grill.
Right. So you never get one. That's exactly what we do.
You don't need the finest grill. You just need something that gets hot and has a grill on it.
I want a grill that you can show people and they'll be like, oh my God, look at that grill. And then they'll go home envying that grill.
Oh, sure.
You can sell
that makes the meat sweet to me.
I got the one in the garage still, the one in all the dead mice from a couple years ago.
It's weird that that's still in the garage and not at my house.
What do you do with it? You don't want that grill. It's falling apart.
I offered to come get it so many times. You were always like, I don't know.
I don't think you want it. I don't want it, but I don't think you want it. It's not in very good condition.
If it had
Craigslist
mice in it at some point, you just turn up the heat real good and leave it on for 10 minutes and let it burn off.
Well, anyway, we all love to build fires. We love to cook our dinner on a fire, and that's no different for Kanzi. He, from an early age, had a fascination with fire and fire safety, and he has become quite proficient at gathering sticks and logs and building a perfect fire, and then Kanzi cooks his dinner over that fire.
I thought his name was Kanzi.
No, just Kanzi.
So Kanzi must be a dog?
Kanzi's not a dog.
Sort of non-human?
Well, he's not a man.
Okay.
He's not a man.
Because if he was just a man, like he's learned to pick up sticks and build a fire. Who cares?
Well, is Kanzi a monkey?
Kanzi is a bonobo pygmy chimpanzee. He's a chimpanzee.
Bonobo.
You can see the pictures on the News Weird blog. It's fascinating.
Is it?
It is.
Because haven't monkeys and chimps and apes been able to do stuff that humans can do for a very, very long time?
I don't know.
Since the beginning of time?
Building fire by himself. Does he have... Did they let him use...
Matches.
They do let him use matches.
At the age of 5, he's watched his human handlers strike matches.
No, my point is that it's been proven that apes, monkeys, chimps can imitate what we do after watching us a couple of times.
They are closer to us than anything else.
And easily trainable.
I think dolphins are closer to us.
No, they're not.
I think dolphins are than dogs.
How can you possibly... How can you look at both of them and say that?
Intelligence-wise. Dolphins are closer than us.
No, they're not.
I think they are.
Based on what?
I saw a dolphin tale starring Morgan Freeman a couple days ago.
Now you need to see Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I don't want to see it. It's sad. But this little fella, at the age of 5, learned how to strike matches.
Yeah.
Because he watches human handlers. He lives with a bunch of other apes and humans in kind of like a campground situation. And then he started...
The end. He made fire.
He's the only primate.
I've seen monkeys smoking on internet videos for years.
Have you ever seen Everyone's Way But Loose?
Impress me. Yeah,
I thought you would be very
I've seen an orangutan punch out a cop.
Could pretty much drive a car on his own.
Right turn, Clyde. Bam!
I love Clyde. Well, anyway, now he's teaching other chimps how to cook. Isn't that fascinating?
Well, hold on. Cook or build fire?
No, look, page down, Ted, on the screen there. He builds a fire. He cooks his food in a frying pan. He cooks burgers. It looks like he's cooking some Brussels sprouts. He even knows how to douse the fire with water afterwards.
Now they've given him matches and a big pointy fork.
Yes.
My point is that if they had found this animal out in the wild and he
where would he have gotten a frying pan out in the wild?
I mean just making a fire and then cooking whatever he killed,
on
like put it over. That would be something.
That'd be something.
The fact that he was trained to do it,
he wasn't trained. He just picked it up. He was not trained. He saw them do it. do it, and he started doing it.
This just in. Dog trained to do something, doesn't.
Wow.
Well, I hope Kanzi invites me to his little campground to have a little cookout and doesn't invite you, Ted Douglas.
He's going to eat your face. It happens all the time.
All right, maybe you'll like this story better. It's a follow-up on a story we discussed this past summer.
Hold on. What's in Kanzi's frying pan? It's face.
Told you about a fella named, I'm going to call him just by his middle and last name, because I can kind of pronounce those. Dewey High is what we'll call him. He's a 32-year-old fella. He's from Vietnam, and he has something that makes him unique to everybody else in the world. Fascinating fella. And again, there's a picture on the News of the Weird blog. If you want to scroll down, Ted.
Is it horn?
You'll see Dewey High. But it's all going to change after scroll down, Ted.
You can't, because we've scrolled down in the past.
And you did it again.
It's nothing. He's a remarkably different kind of a person.
What?
We discussed him this summer. He has a growth on his very small frame of the body.
It's not a growth.
It's bigger than him.
It's bigger than him.
There's a growth on it.
There's a growth that has a little Dewey High on it.
It weighs almost 200 pounds. They estimate he
really at this point.
He weighs about 120.
They're just extracting Dewey High from the growth.
It's on his right leg.
Growth walks into a bar. Monitor says, "Hey, you got a Dewey High on your head."
I know. I'm working on it.
Well, he had the thing first removed when he was 17, but then it grew back with a vengeance, much larger than it used to be. So he's been very hesitant to have it removed. Plus,
Wait, just in case you're trying to get a perspective.
Yeah, we should have described
Imagine a waterbed covered in skin.
Yeah, that's what he's got.
Kind of like a giant potato.
And then half a dude coming out of that waterbed. That's roughly the proportions.
And he says, to be completely honest, he's gotten used to it.
I don't even notice it anymore.
He even notices
right.
it. He hardly notices it. It's
How could you not notice the 200-pound thing you're dragging around?
If you've had it around for most of your life, you just forget about it.
You can't get in a car, you can't go on the bus, you can't go anywhere at all.
You forget about it.
Why can't I go through this this subway turnstile
every day?
Oh, wait!
I keep forgetting this is here.
I didn't even notice it was there, dragging behind me 200
Why are the
pounds
children
worth.
running away?
Why is everyone crying and screaming?
Well, good news for Dewey.
Is it my breath?
He was hesitant to have it removed for a couple reasons, because he's gotten used to it. You know, he doesn't want to deal with any complications, and
What's
it's very
inside
expensive.
it?
That's a good question. We can find out today, because just today, a Chicago surgeon, Dr. McKinnon, flew to Vietnam.
It doesn't look real. It looks paper mache.
To have it removed. Maybe it is puppy
Full of 100 clowns.
I think if Geraldo Rivera showed up and had a samurai sword and sliced inside it, it would just collapse. Like it would just be nothing but air, and everyone would be really disappointed.
The surgery was a success, 12-hour surgery, and now Dewey is without his little
I think
friend.
they should give it to Letterman to throw off a building.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore. He should do that more of that.
I really want to know, and I love that there's a Band-Aid on the side of it. You see that?
It's just a little
Hold
owie.
on, there's like we better cover that unsightly portion of the growth.
It took them an hour or so. They kept trying to figure out what that whistle was. There's something in here.
What's the whistle? It's leaking. Oh, no. Finally, Daria and Ted, we got one more for you. It involves some scary, scary insects. We're going to tell you about it when we come back.
105.1 The Buzz, the afternoon buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Now, the call we have coming up is in regards to the bonobo chimpanzee named Kanzi who learned how to cook.
He builds fires
and cook by
puts
watching
the fire out, cleans up.
watching his keepers. We found that less amazing than Mitch did. I mean, it's cool.
It's very cool.
It's cool.
It's
but
amazing.
I mean, chimps are smart
And they can learn.
and can do things. Yeah. So the voice on this next call has been modified by her request. Because she didn't want her real voice to go out on the air just because she may be saying some things that she shouldn't.
Hi, go ahead.
So I used to work at the Oregon Zoo, and we have all these codes if a dangerous animal gets out, and it goes on the microphone, and there's all these procedures about what happens.
Please tell us the codes.
What are some of these codes?
Back it up.
Okay, well, code. So if someone says a 999 in, that means that there is a person who is in with a dangerous animal, and a 999 out means run for your life. A dangerous animal's out of the exhibit. And then there's
Well, wait. Before you go on.
Does it ever happen?
How many times does that happen?
Okay, so that's the story I was going to share. So, not very often. Like, never. But years and years and years ago, before I even worked there, but they used this during training, there was a 999 out, which means one of the dangerous animals. I mean, lorikeets get out all the time, the birds, but that doesn't count. And so they went into lockdown and got all the people to the exhibit because one of the chimpanzees got out. But so he got into into just the back keeper area, not out with the general public. And when they went to get him, when the people went to tranquilize or get him back or whatever, the chimpanzee had gone into the back keeper area and picked up a broom and a dustpan and started cleaning his enclosure.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Seen other people, the other zookeepers cleaning, so he just went out and started cleaning.
He was a gay chimp.
1051 The Buzz. Daria, Mitch, and Ted. With the bizarre, strange, the potentially untrue, the news of the weird.
Okay, final story here. You'll still want to stay on the News of the Weird blog at 1051thebuzz.com. Daria and Ted, many creatures in the insect world that roam our Earth today look much, much different than prehistoric times. In most cases, they were much larger. And now researchers at McGill University in Canada have figured out a way to turn one type of insect, they're starting with just one, a species of ant, back to the way they look.
It is them.
Yes, it's them.
The movie them.
Yeah.
Giant ants, them.
Oh, gosh.
Why not learn, if such technology exists, to make the huge ones smaller?
That's a great idea.
Why not take those massive centipedes that exist within our very country, including the one that my little brother living in Brooklyn said looked like a carrot that bends and runs through the house? Why not shrink those down to tiny?
Well, let's work on the slugs then. Let's go to the
God,
the banana slugs.
Slugs want to get me. Don't let anybody tell you that they are harmless and benign creatures. They're not. They attack. They attack very slowly.
Sure.
What's really fun is when your dog goes out to play and the dog comes in. You're playing with your dog, and one of those banana slugs is on their tummy. It's just
because you have dirty, dirty dogs.
Filthy dogs, filthy, horrible, filthy dogs. So they're turning back a species of ants to the way they looked some 60 million years ago.
Why?
I don't know. There's no good answer.
Why would?
They're being called super soldier ants, and on the News of the Weird blog, you're going to see these things. They're nightmarish. They have huge heads and huge jaws.
Do you know what I picture before I even go there, Ted? I picture like the most obvious model of like a city, and like this normal-sized ant that's just being filmed really close, knocking stuff down.
That is better than what is here.
Okay, let's see. Let me ask you a question before I see the picture, Ted.
You don't like this, Ted?
Is there any sort of object in the picture for reference as to how big this thing is?
There's a normal size ant.
Let me see.
Yeah.
So that's also unimpressive. Because the normal size ant is about half the size of this ant.
That's probably 100 times bigger.
It's probably
100 times bigger.
Probably a dozen times bigger.
Math?
I know some math.
Sense of perspective.
It's a dozen times bigger.
No, it's not.
That's like twice, maybe three times.
Maybe 3 times as big.
It's much larger than 3 times.
Okay,
it's
Mitch,
very scary.
I have seen ants this big in my yard.
Mitch, look at ant 1. Do you know how many 100 is? Picture 100 of those together.
Well, I don't know for sure that the smaller ant is a normal size ant. I'm just assuming.
No, you're changing your.
That's all I know. I'm assuming.
You have to assume because there's nothing in the picture
to show
for
frame
reference.
of reference, right? What they did is they altered the DNA by massaging the DNA.
Why are there people that, you know what, if I would say like, okay, fine, if this thing, if there was an ant the size of a car, I'd be like, all right, well, I know it's a waste of time, but still, that's pretty cool.
Even a Kleenex box. You've shown us an ant that's a little bit bigger than an ant.
It's probably 10 times bigger.
Do you think they held a press conference like they had like all their peers?
Okay,
that's
you guys.
Not 10 times.
I'm multiplying them. I'm doing it double with my eye.
They bring
one
out
eye.
like a giant box, and they're like, inside this box we have the ant, and everyone's like, ant in the box. I need the ant in the box. And then they open the box, and then they lift in their ant, and they pull out tiny ant, slightly bigger than normal ant.
Much larger than normal ant.
It's the size of a ladybug.
It's much larger than all those things. And they're saying, of course, if these ants escape from the lab, it's going to be catastrophic because the damage they can do to crops.
they will do everything twice as fast.
They'll eat cars and houses.
Dave, did you latch the thing on the giant ants cage? I think I did.
I didn't.
Should we go back and check?
I really want to finish my drink.
I'm tired and I want to play World of Warcraft. All right.
Fair enough.
Go home.
And now they're going to work with other insects and see if they can increase the size of those.
Slightly larger grasshopper.
Dozens of times larger than they used to be.
Oh my God, look at the size of that grasshopper. It's the size of a finger.
Ted's multiplying the picture here.
I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to multiply it times 10.
We can do this off the air.
Yeah, this is great radio.
This is just to educate Mitch about
in conclusion,
what big is.
The monkey cooks his own dinner and puts it out, and the ants are giant. That's your News of the Weird.
1051 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
Here's a story out of Oklahoma, and it's about self-defense and protecting your family inside your house. It's
Just this New Year's Eve, this happened.
This is crazy.
18-year-old Sarah McKinley of Blanchard, Oklahoma, was home with her 3-month-old son, and she was in mourning. Her husband, the baby's father, had died of cancer on Christmas.
Oh, gosh.
Suddenly, 2 men began trying to break into her house. 24-year-old Justin Martin and 29-year-old Dustin Stewart. They had a 12-inch hunting knife. So, Sarah, again, she's 18 years old. She grabbed her baby. She locked herself in the bedroom. But first, she grabbed her 2 guns.
Yep.
12-gauge shotgun and a pistol. She called 911. She asked for help, and then she asked the dispatcher, I'm here by myself with my infant baby. I've got 2 guns in my hand. Can I shoot an intruder if he comes in this door? And the dispatcher told her this, I can't tell you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby. So they continued to break in. They got in the house. Martin kicked in the door to the bedroom. He went at Sarah, holding a 3-month-old baby.
Good gosh.
With his knife. She shot and killed him with a 12-gauge.
Wow.
So the police have ruled this a justified shooting in self-defense. They said you're allowed to shoot an unauthorized person that is in your home. The law provides you the remedy and sanctions the use of deadly force. Now, this varies state to state.
Right, that's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma. I don't know what it is here in Oregon or elsewhere. I imagine it's the case in my home state of Wyoming.
I think in Florida, they don't even have to be in your house. It's so...
You just have to be thinking about it.
Give somebody a dirty look on the street. Boom.
Sarah says, I wouldn't have done it, but this was my son. It's not an easy decision to make. I knew it was him or my son, and it wasn't going to be my son. After the shooting, the other guy took off and then turned himself into police. And actually, that guy is going to be charged with Martin's murder.
Wow.
Since he was participating in a felony.
Oh, that's new.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
He was participating in a felony that resulted in a death. And so even though Sarah, the mother, is clear of murder charges, he is not. So we had this question many years ago on the show, but I think it's worth a revisit. Do you have a plan in your house of not necessarily using deadly force like this, but do you have... Especially if you're a guy, but I'd be surprised about I wouldn't be surprised about the amount of women, especially mothers too. Do you have the thing worked out in your mind as to how it'll happen if someone, God forbid, and hopefully this never, ever, ever happens, but if someone were to break into your house
while you're there,
do you kind of know what you're going to do? Do you have something hidden somewhere, maybe in the bedroom,
under the bed? Do
you have the sort of plan of attack in your mind, or maybe the weapon that you know you're going to use all set to go in your brain? 888-733-5105. I would just say, without giving away necessarily the detail, because I don't know what it is. It's in Dallas's head. Dallas is ready.
Yeah, don't freak in on Dallas.
Yeah, no, Dallas is ready. He's almost waiting.
Oh, gosh.
888-733-5105. I was cleaning up the bedroom the other day, and there's weaponry that can't be used unless you want to use it in force on, near, or around the bed. It's not something the baby could ever hurt himself with, but I'm like, Dallas is planning. Not planning.
Well, it's good to have an emergency plan.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
Like, he's prepared.
Well,
he's thought about it.
He molds his life after Batman.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it's like breaking into Stately Wayne Manor.
Yes.
When Bruce Wayne has had a particularly bad day.
Right.
Oh.
What's your plan? 888-733-5105.
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
So, when it comes to defending your own home, we just did a harrowing story about this young mother, newly singled, and a 3-month-old baby. And she actually asked the 911 operator, I've got a gun, can I shoot this person? And the operator was vague, didn't say, yes, shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
She was, the operator was like, not going to tell you yes, but you protect your baby.
Yeah. And
protecting her baby ended up being shooting this guy. Do you have a plan at home? Like, if it's, hopefully you'll never have any sort of home intrusion, ever. But you have to imagine the worst, especially if you're a parent, especially if you're defending, it changes the game.
Sure.
What's the plan at your house? Dallas's plan, I feel he goes overboard in his planning, but at the same time, I feel very safe.
Very safe
with him
and
in the
sorry.
house.
That's
like,
right.
I sleep like a baby because I know that anybody that's even, God, I can't even imagine. Like a drunk person that thinks it's his house.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. That was your last day on Earth. Dallas has not only the weaponry plan and the fighting plan, and he's very, very, very strong and crazy. He has the disposal plan.
Right. He's a professional athlete.
No one
fought with sticks.
No one will ever know where you went. You'll just be gone.
Dexter.
888-733. You don't even know.
Oh, my goodness.
888-733-5105. I have to say that Dexter, I imagine, was, for people like you, Mitch, was like, that would work. 888-733-5105.
Your calls when we come back.
105.1 The Buzz. The Afternoon Buzz. With Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
So, we were asking you, when it comes to the possibility, hopefully it never, ever, ever happens. It's one of the worst things I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst, scariest things I can imagine.
For sure.
That being someone breaking into your home while you're there.
Yeah.
I keep saying, especially if you have children, it's awful if it's just you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no good scenario for
Not especially
for a
if you
homebreaker.
have children.
But I mean, if you've got a young life to defend, it just ups the stakes, I think, that much more.
Well, and it throws an element of chaos into it, because if it's just you or just you and your spouse, you can behave as adults would. If you have kids, you don't know what they're going to do. You can't hide and hope they're going to be quiet.
Right.
Wild
Oh, yeah.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. In fact, when it was just us and the dogs, I would worry. I would think about the possibility of home invasion in my mind, and I know where I would hide. That's my plan of attack.
Sure.
We had this great place to hide. It was like a secret room in the attic. But I was like, the dogs will make noise.
Right.
Will be found.
Why don't more homes have panic rooms? If I ever win the lottery and I'm rich, I'm having a panic room.
Your house is going to be
serious.
Your house is going to be one big panic room.
house.
I think you protest too much, sub-basement.
No doubt. What's your plan? 888-733-5105.
Hi, Jared. Go ahead.
First off, I'm proud of that woman.
Me too.
I'm glad she protected her child.
Yep.
As for me, I have a wife and 2 kids, and I'm probably like Daria's husband. I go a little overkill. I have a plan for every room in my house.
Oh, gosh.
If I'm in the front room, I got a handgun hidden there that my kids can't get to. That they break in the front door and I'm there, good.
Boom.
If I'm not home, I have a plan for my wife. My wife is not a gun user, but I've got that old side-by-side shotgun that all she's got to do is close the barrels and pull the trigger. If I'm home and I'm back in the bedroom, we lock the bedroom door. We've got a large walk-in closet with more than enough firepower set up there to take care of a dozen intruders.
That's not what I thought you were going to
Nelly.
say. I thought you were going to say shoes or something. With enough places to hide. No, it's armed.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. One time... Go ahead.
Me personally, I have an assault rifle with a 100-round drum.
Oh.
Good golly.
One time in college, I took the bus for 8 years, the 4 years I was in and the 4 years I was out of college. And sometimes when you're taking the bus, you have to walk through places at night to get to the next stop or whatever else. And I had a scary experience with a couple guys. And, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have another travel option. I have to take the bus and still walk these same routes. And I didn't have any access to any sort of weaponry. So I took 2 large cans of Raid and had the caps off and I walked with my fingers over the spray nozzle, pointed outwards. And I looked like a moron, but I have to tell you, I felt safe. And if anybody had even asked me for a light, I would have been like, spray to the eyes.
Alana, go ahead. Tell us your plan.
I have a golf club and a crowbar under my bed.
That would work.
Yeah, thank you.
DJ, go ahead.
Hey, I've got a nice bat at the front door. I've got a bat under the bed. My wife will not allow guns in the house, but I do have a very high-powered pellet gun, and I've got a crossbow.
A what?
So,
Crossbow.
They may get all 3 if they come into my house.
Yeah, crossbow trumps all.
Okay, say it's the bat. Yeah, you're prepared for zombie attack as well, it sounds like. So you got the bat in your hands, and dude is coming at you. Where in your mind are you going to hit him with the bat?
Anywhere. And then tackle his butt and beat him to a pulp. Drag him outside.
No, keep him in the house.
Yeah, keep him in the house.
Yeah.
Well, lots of little kids, so he may end up outside. But I know what you're saying. But, you can always prove the fact that he came in.
Also, crossbow. Crossbow first.
Are you a pretty good shot with the crossbow?
I'm an amazing shot with the crossbow.
But don't you have to take time to load it and then,
Yeah, and you have to have the distance to make the pull, too, so that's why you have to have the bat and high-powered pellet gun.
So,
the whole key to this is that, the dead man can't tell any lies, right?
Ooh, DJ. Got it all
Like
figured
the way
out.
you think, sir.
Yeah, whoever gets into DJ's house...
You're not leaving.
Yeah, no, will not get out alive. And I imagine he'll be. I don't want to put words in your mouth, DJ, but I imagine the bat maybe will come first because it's doesn't need to be loaded.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Boom.
It's brute strength. But then I picture DJ going, I've got the crossbow.
Might as well use it.
Even though he's not really running away, I'm just gonna. It's practice. The crossbow's gonna get used. No, even if it's sort of an unfair target.
Put on the 3D glasses and take aim.
Whoa.
Why not?
Whoa.
Hey, turn off the lights, even though you don't have to. Put on the night vision goggles.
Eva, go ahead.
I bought a pistol and I took a class on how to use it and I learned all the rules and I even got my handler's card so I can carry with me.
Where do you keep it?
Huh?
Where do you keep it?
I keep it in my purse.
Whoa.
Wow. Have you ever gotten, have you ever had to, do you carry it on an airplane?
No.
No, that you have to check in a lockbox in your suitcase. You can't carry it on the plane, but you can travel with it.
So have you ever had anyone look in your purse and be like, oh my, excuse me?
No, not yet.
Can I borrow some gum?
Yeah, hold this for a second.
I am Melissa. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was listening to the radio and I realized that you guys were talking about protection plans, and we have 2 guns in our house, and one's in our bedroom and one is in the garage, just in case something happens. And both me and my husband have licenses, and if anything happens, we are completely prepared for an attack.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Where are you gonna aim the shot?
I would aim for the knees. My husband would aim for like the arm.
Okay,
arm.
so
Interesting. So you're going to fire a wounding.
The weapon if they have one.
Say again?
If they have a weapon in their arm, then he would knock it off.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I would attack at the knee so that they would collapse, because that's the most painful place to actually hit in the body.
I think anywhere is going to hurt.
Even the
It's
penis?
smart.
Well, yeah. But I think the knee would hurt more because, that drops you, that collapses you, and that's like the most, to me, that would be the most painful part.
Let's find a pedophile and do an experiment.
There you go.
And find out which hurts more.
Okay, yeah, please do that.
Okay, shake on it.
Okay.
Matt, go ahead.
All right, so I wouldn't necessarily have a plan per se, but I am actually pretty well trained in martial arts, and also have quite a collection on swords as well. So if someone were to try and break in, they have quite a bit of flying metal objects coming at their face.
Have you ever had it happen, Matt, where you're at home, you're sleeping, and you think you hear something that could be suspicious or a break-in, and you get yourself armed?
Yes, actually, it has happened. My sister was having a hard time getting the door unlocked. This is when I was 17, 18 years old.
And you thought it was a bad guy.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, I did think it was a bad guy. I went out, I grabbed a blade that I had gotten for Christmas. It was a katana. It was kind of a crappy quality, but the blade was still sharp. And I stalk out very, very silently, and
like a ninja.
Wait in the shadows. Yes. And I'm sitting there waiting in the shadows. I see the door open, and I see my sister there. And the sword's like halfway out. I keep the sword, and I say, "Oh," and walk away.
Disappointed.
I would think that's kind of that awkward moment where your sister walks in and you're hiding in the shadows in your underwear with a sword. It's awkward. Hi.
You think that's when you close your eyes and go, "Where am I?"
105.1 The Buzz, the afternoon buzz with Daria, Mitch, and Ted.
So one thing that I didn't mention on air, maybe I did. It's so hard to tell. I'm on drugs.
Convalescing from a surgery.
I think I did mention it on Tuesday. I arrived to find, to my delight, that Mitch had given me a Christmas present. I didn't give Ted or Mitch anything.
The joy is in the giving.
This year. Apparently so.
We got more joy than
me
you,
too.
Than you.
Ted got me exactly what I had asked for, which is our deal. Which is the Ernie Kovacs box set, which is awesome, and we have yet to watch them. And I'm waiting for like a snow-in or something.
Right, sure. Yeah.
And Mitch got me a bottle of Kenzo Amour perfume from the Perfume House, and it's in this beautiful Art Deco-y hot pink.
Yeah, I liked the bottle
lacquered
a lot.
Bottle, totally opaque, and so I'm wearing it today, and I'm afraid Dallas is a little jealous.
That I got you something
that
you
like
like
it
that
so
much?
Yeah.
Well,
Dallas got me perfume too. He got me actually my 2 favorite perfumes in the world. But I've never owned the kind Mitch got me before.
This was a big risk for me.
It's very special. It smells exactly like me.
And
like
it's the stuff I like too. It's vanilla and spices.
Woodsy and yeah.
And they described it as just a fun everyday fragrance.
It's fun. Just wear it.
Yeah.
So I never officially thanked you. I don't.
Oh,
think.
You thanked me profusely. You
Did
were very,
I?
very, very thankful.
And when I came in the room, you were like, "Look what Mitch got me," and we made a big deal about it. You did all the right things.
Why can't I just have perfume every day?
Well, you can.
Just buy a sister some perfume. There's no reason I can think why you shouldn't. Coming up, well, what can Ted do with our babies?
Oh.
And before that, coming up next, local entertainment guy.
Hooray!
105.1 The Buzz. Daria's entertainment guide.
In grade school, when I first met her, my friend Sasha lived with her dad, which was great for Sasha and great for Sasha's friends because Sasha's dad felt that 12 was old enough for girls to be able to take care of themselves while he went on extended weekend tours with his classic rock cover band. Unfortunately, this was not so great in the opinion of the state. So during most of junior high, Sasha moved to a different city. Then freshman year, she moved back and moved in with her grandparents, who were evil, evil old people. If you think that's possibly an unfair assessment, let me lob this example at you. Before Sasha moved in, or before they got Sasha, as they put it, Nana and Peepaw used to house a different high school female foreign exchange student every year and assimilate her to the wonders of small-town American culture by having her be their live-in maid and cook. The exchange student could have the use of their real American car, but only to go to the grocery store and practice their reading and speaking skills by doing all the shopping. God only knows how they got away with this for years running, but they did. After Sasha moved in, she became the new indentured servant, so they didn't need to rotate exchange students anymore. But Nana and Peepaw would sometimes sit around the living room and reminisce. That second Japanese one, what was it? Moni, Momo, something. Anyway, she could cook. I didn't care for that Shriva one. Her food was too spicy and she always made the laundry smell funny. You remember that, Mother? Now, was she the one that came from the country where they don't have the sit-down toilets? You remember that, Sasha, the next time you start up with the eye rolling when Nana tells you to clean the bathroom over again. That you could live in one of those spicy food smelly countries where they have to squat over a board with a hole in it. Sasha, meanwhile, took on this crap phase in her life with the sort of wistful acceptance usually reserved for the hero or heroine of Grimm's fairy tales or Roald Dahl novels. If there was anyone ever primed to have a fairy godmother appear in her bedroom, or a giant peach fall from her backyard tree and fly her or roll her away to the enchanted happiness she was entitled to, it was Sasha. But all she got for the longest time was chapter after chapter, filled with cooking blueberry buckle for Nana's cackling bifocal bingo group and dumping out Peepaw's overflowing ashtrays. Like a children's story, the unpleasantness of life with Nana and Peepaw was at times so ridiculous that, especially when Sasha had friends around her as witnesses, there was an undeniable entertainment value to it. Peepaw, for example, would get so worked up when he watched golf on TV, he would call Sasha into the room and dictate letters for her to write, which she was then instructed to mail to the PGA. She never mailed the letters. She threw them away, usually bringing them in, though, to school to share with her friends first. Dear PGA officials, please inform Lee Trevino that if he bogeys the 7th hole again, I hope that he is damned to hell, and that his family is also damned to hell. I'm a 73-year-old double veteran with the partial use of one hip and arthritis that makes me wake up screaming, and I could have made that shot with ease, and still had enough energy to whap Trevino upside the head and downside the spinal train. And if the... And if the tour had enough sense to let the cows back in the barn before the hail started coming down, they'd take the jacket away from Palmer and put him in a frilly apron instead, like the little girl that he is. And speaking of hail, there must have been an invisible hailstorm when Fuzzy Zeller was coming up to the green on the 10th that only he could see, because he was swinging at something, but it wasn't the goddamn ball, and I could see even through my glaucoma, which is so bad it feels like my eyeballs are going to explode like microwave eggs. Nana, meanwhile, didn't like Sasha to ever leave the house because she was convinced that everything outside was not only deadly, but also lying in wait and ready to strike. The older Nana got, the more narrow the circle of relative safety became, with the crime and mayhem occurring primarily first anywhere outside the United States, closing in to states away from the Mountain West, to immediately surrounding states, to surrounding cities, to other neighborhoods in the same city, to nearby streets, to the neighbors across the street and across the alley and back, and finally to both the neighbors next door. It wasn't just other people that the danger stemmed from by any means. It was lightning, cars, motorcycles, tree branches, sunlight, toxic fumes, squirrels, birds, rusted metal, broken glass, helicopters, mushrooms, hot pavement tar, automatic doors, escalators, public bathrooms, restaurant food. Do you know what? It would probably be a lot easier to run down the list of what Nana was convinced would not cause immediate grievous bodily harm. So here's that list. 1. Soap operas. 2. Menthol cigarettes. 3. Pre-made crocheted yarn doilies protecting the end tables, armchair backs, and sofa arms from both dust and attractiveness. The only people that Nana ever had willingly over to her house were the vast in number, powdery of fragrance, interchangeable of house dress, aforementioned bifocal bingo ladies. And the one and only thing that could get Nana willingly out of the house was bingo night. The bingo ladies were over in groups of 1 to 5 to 10, fairly often. But how they got there and how they got home was a mystery, as none of them seemed to drive, although they all owned great big long cars. How Nana got to bingo night was no mystery. It was the same night as Peepaw's elks or lions or moose or whatever lodge meeting in the basement, so he drove. And Sasha had to come with. Because unlike her father, Sasha's grandparents did not think a girl of only 14 or 15 or 16 or 17 should be left alone, no matter how many dishes there were to do or Kleenex box cozies there were to restuff with fresh boxes. And if the lodge meeting bingo night fell on a Friday or Saturday night and I was staying over with Sasha, that meant I was coming too. A bobcat, declared Mrs. Hildebrandt as everyone was situated at one of the long bingo tables on folding chairs. Everyone had to complain about how uncomfortable the chairs were for about 10 to 20 minutes before anything else happened. It was tradition. But woe be unto Sasha and I if we agreed they were uncomfortable, because then would follow a lecture 12 screeching voices strong about how we didn't know what it was to sit with discomfort until we'd borne 4 children and had a hip replaced. Setting up their bingo cards. A bobcat will kill you in the woods. It will come up right behind you at a picnic table, and it's the claws that kill you first, and then it kills you with its teeth. But the cougar will come down onto your property and wait for you to take the garbage out. Betty Nottingham over there on Durban, by where the big field goes into the woods behind the hospital, she had planted all that night blooming jasmine that one summer. And she went out one night to pluck some blossoms, and right there out of the field, she hears, "Wow, I-13, said the bingo caller. Well, I tell you, Betty didn't leave the house again until Christmas, continued Mrs. Hildebrandt, dabbing the cougar noise that she had made spit away from her mouth daintily. "Oh, 44, said the bingo caller. "Oh, 44. Well, Mavis, if that's what she heard, that's not a cougar sound, Nana pointed out contentedly. If it sounded like that, I think Betty heard what she heard was some of those kids shooting the firing sticks. Sasha, what are those exploding whiny things that make me feel like I'm going to lose my mind? N27, N27, said the bingo caller. Bottle rockets, Nana, said Sasha. B3, the bingo caller said. That's right, those bottle rockets, said Nana. You know, I'd like to take some of that silver duct tape and wind up around 70 or 80 of those things right on to those hoodlums and set them off all hours of the night just to see how much fun they have then. The rest of the ladies all nodded, agreeing with both the punishing of bottle rocket shooting kids and the versatility of duct tape. G30, G30, said the bingo caller. The aphids certainly are bad this year, observed Miss Davis, a former preschool teacher with massive round tinted glasses and a goiter like a host's ding-dong. They certainly are, agreed her friend, Mrs. Beaudelet. I don't believe I'm going to have a single tomato to call my own this year. Oh, well, Trudy, unless you and Ray have gotten the floodlight security system, it's not safe for you to be growing tomatoes anyway, continued Mrs. Ziopoulos down the table. I read where people have been sneaking into other people's backyards at night and taking a hypodermic needle and filling their tomatoes up with drug poison. Said the bingo caller, B6. It is poison, Marta. It's drugs. It's the drugs that paralyze, said Mrs. Hildebrandt. Yes, I call that poison. I call that poison indeed, said Mrs. Ziopoulos. I know where Betty Nottingham lives, and I think that may well have been a cougar, mused Mrs. Beaudelet. No, Jeannie, insisted Nana. Cougars go... They don't, snapped Mrs. Hildebrandt, quickly shifting from the cougar problem to defend her own cougar observation. They go, wow. The aphids, I tell you. The aphids have never bothered me, chimed in Miss Simmons. A woman crowned with utterly immobile peaks and valleys of brown, yellow, white, beige, and creamy off-white hair. But I can't even sit in my garden for 5 minutes anymore for all the mosquitoes. Oh, agreed all the women in unison. N25, said the bingo caller. Mosquitoes anymore, declared Miss Davis. They come in those swarms, and they're not like bees. They can bite you up to 70 times before they die. You see some of them land on you, and they're so full of blood, they look like butterflies. Wobble, 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 said the goiter. Oh, 43, said the bingo caller. Well, don't you? Not to go swatting at them once they've started biting you, pointed out Nana. That's right, exclaimed Miss Ziopoulos. That's right, because then the blood of whoever they bit last goes right into your bloodstream. That's how Mary Lou Staples got the shingles. No, Marta. That's if you scratch the bites right after so they bleed, said Mrs. Hildebrandt. Well, I guess some people are just the last word on everything, aren't they, Mavis? Said Mrs. Ziopoulos. The best thing for a mosquito bite, said Mrs. Beaudelet, is Skin So Soft from Avon. No, Jeannie, that's before you get bit, said Miss Davis. After the mosquito gets you, you need to put on nail polish remover. No, not remover, it's nail polish, corrected Nana. A little bit of clear polish right on the bite stops the itching. You're thinking of stopping nylon stockings from running, scoffed Mrs. Beaudelet. Only one thing can stop the itch of a mosquito bite. You've got to take 1 part baking soda, 1 part club soda, 1 part meat tenderizer, 1 part Epsom salts, 1 part baby lotion, 1 part crushed ice, 1 part calamine, 1 part Vicks Vaco Rub, 1 part aloe vera. I-11, said the bingo caller. Bingo, shouted Sasha. All the old ladies swiveled in their uncomfortable seats into their jewel tortoise-shelled affixed-to-neck chains, ultra-magnifying, partially tinted lensed eyes were hostilely trained. First on Sasha's bingo card, then on Sasha herself. They made a collective noise, like a pack of cougars or a bunch of bottle rockets, depending on your theories about backyard dangers. And Sasha won $900. And her grandmother took it all for herself, pointing out that it had been her 50 cents that had purchased said winning bingo card for Sasha in the first place. Did I remember to mention evil? Somewhere out there is either a roving band of vengeful former exchange students or a 14-ton peach with that woman's name all over it. And if it's not Sasha, I hope it's me that gets to point those things in the right direction. Now, if you are so inclined to indulge in some bingo madness, a good starter place for you to have, or try rather, is the Disabled American Veterans Bingo, and that's located at 8725 Northeast Sandy. It's a nice, sort of relaxed place, kind of gentle, and they're really all about community. They're more calm, and they have a cheap food grill. Everything very, very nice and genteel, open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. However, be warned, for if you go from Thursday through Saturday between the hours of 10 p.m. and 3 a.m., you might find things going kind of extra chaotic and extra fast. And that means that speed bingo is going on. And if you're ready to play with the big boys and especially girls, you'll want to check out All-Star Bingo. It's a little farther away at Southeast 146th and Stark. It's enormous, and they're open till 4 a.m. every day, and it's all about speed bingo there, in which the caller chooses numbers super, super fast. High stakes, intense players, and usually packed, even with the very old and even at the very, very late. If you do go, make sure that no matter what your bingo feelings are, you play the game and take the situation very, very seriously. These are the hardcore players you're playing with, and to suggest that it's other than a very serious event, you may well find yourself strapped up like a mummy, head to toe with duct tape, slowly and methodically, then fed to aphids. I'm not a big golf fan, but I heard that's exactly what happened to Fuzzy Zeller. This is your local entertainment guide on 105.1 The Buzz.